Hi guys, and welcome back to lesson 7 in our fractions topic. Today you can see that we are moving on to multiplying fractions, so you are going to be learning the rules on how to multiply fractions together. You will be successful today if you can remember the rules for multiplying fractions, and again if you can check your final answer to make sure it is in its most simple form. Our rules are quite simple. Step number 1 is we multiply the numerators together, so the top two numbers multiplied, and then we multiply the denominators together. And that is all that we need to do for our first few examples here. So, a half times by 1/5, well 1 times by 1 is 1, 2 times by 5 is 10. I can't simplify that anymore, so 1/10 is my final answer. For example number 2, 1/5 times by 3/4, well 1 times by 3 is 3, and 5 times by 4 is 20. 3 and 20 are not in the same times table, so that is my final answer. Last example here, 6 times by 2 is 12, 7 times by 5 is 35, 12 and 35 are not in the same times table, so that is us finished with that example as well. So pretty straightforward. Sometimes we are going to need that final step. You know what I'm going to say. Simplify. Okay. So I would like you guys to try this question here and simplify it at the end if you can. Okay, hopefully we paused the video and gave that a go. So 4 times by 5 then is going to give me 20, and 5 times by 6 is 30. Now both these numbers end in a 0, so they must be in my 10 times table. So we are going to divide by 10, top and bottom, to simplify, and that is going to give me 2/3 for my answer there. What about 25/28 times by 7/30? Now, if I tried to multiply these numbers, they are going to get really big really quickly. But what I can do is I can look diagonally at these numbers. So what I mean by that is 25 and 30, and 28 and 7. They look diagonally. What I want to do is check, are these guys in the same times table? Well, 7 and 28 are both in my 7 times table. 7 ones give me 7, and 7 fours give me 28, so I can simplify them diagonally. For 25 and 30, they end in a 5 and a 0, so they are both in my 5 times table. 5 fives give me 25, and 6 fives give me 30. So what I'm going to do is write these fractions out again. So this time I've got 5/4, and we are going to times by 1/6. So you can see that my numbers haven't changed position. 5 is top left, 4 is bottom left, 1 is top right, 6 is bottom right. And now I'm going to use the same rules as before. So 5 times by 1 is 5, and 4 times by 6 is 24. And you can see that my numbers are much easier to multiply there. 5 and 24 are not in the same times table, so that is me with my final answer. Always check to see if you can cross simplify before multiplying, because that is going to make your life so much easier. So for our first one, 9 and 3 are both in my 3 times table, so I'm going to make that 3 and that 1. 10 and 2, well 2 5s give me 10, and 2 1s give me 2. So that is the same as 3/5 times by 1/1. So my final answer there is just 3/5. I can't simplify that anymore. 25 and 5, they are both in my 5 times table. 5 1s give me 5, and 5 5s give me 25. For 18 and 9, they are both in my 3, but they are both in my 9 as well. So you can maybe go straight to your 9 times table, but if you go to 3, you'll need to simplify it again at the end, so I'll show you what I mean by that. So say we only spotted 3, that would become 6, and that would become 3. So my new fraction is 6/5 times by 1/3. 6 times by 1 is 6, 5 times by 3 is 15, and look, 6 and 15 are both in my 3 times table, so I'm just going to do a final simplify at the end to give me 2/5. So if you don't fully simplify up here, it means that you are going to have to fully simplify at the end. So always double check, have you got the biggest times table possible to divide by? Our steps for multiplying mixed number fractions just have an extra step to them. Step 1 is that we need to make them top heavy. We then simplify, if possible, like we've done for the last couple of examples there. We multiply our numerators, and then we multiply our denominators. So for example here, 2 3/4, well, what I need to do is do 2 times by 4, and then add that 3 on. So 2 4s are 8, plus 3 is 11. Then I'm going to do 5 times by 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. So we are doing 8/5. Can I simplify anything here? Yes, I can. 4 and 8 are both in my 4 times table, so 4 becomes 1 and 8 becomes 2. So I've now got 11/1 times by 2/5. So that is going to be 22/5. And then the last thing I'm going to do is change it back to mixed number. So 5 goes into 22 4 times with 2 left over. So it is 4 2/5 as my answer there. Let's try this one together. So 3 times by 10 is 30, plus 2 is 32. So I've got 32/10. 3 times by 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So I've got 10 on the top, and I will have 3 still on the bottom. So remember, my 10 and my 10 match up, and my 3 and my 3 match up, so I don't change them. I can simplify again. 10 and 10 are both in my 10 times table, so they would divide down to just 1. So that is going to give me 32/1 times by 1/3. And then we multiply top with top, so that's just 32, and bottom with bottom is just 3. I then think, how many times can 3 go into 32? Well, it can go in 10 times with 2 left over, so it is 10 2/3 for my final answer there. Last example, guys, I want you to pause this video and try it yourself and come back for the answer. Okay, 5 times by 7 is 35, plus 1 is going to give me 36. And it was 7ths we started with, so I need 7ths to stay at the bottom. We're then going to multiply by, so 6 times by 2 is 12, plus another 2 is going to give me 14/6. And again, we've got quite big numbers here, so I'm going to try and simplify. 36 and 6 are in my 6 times table, so that is going to be 1, and that's going to be 6. 7 and 14 are both in my 7, so that's going to be 1, and that's going to be 2. So that is leaving me with 6/1 times by 2/1. Well, 6 times by 2 is 12, and 1 times by 1 is 1, but anything over 1, well, that just means 12 divided by 1, and anything divided by 1 is just itself. So 12 is my answer there. Well done if you managed to get that answer. And that is you at the end of this week's lesson. Fantastic effort, guys. Let's keep this up. Your mild section is nice and straightforward, so you are just multiplying and simplifying at the end if you can. For your medium section, you have got, for question 3, you've got 3 fractions multiplied together. So for that, I would do your first 2 multiplied and then multiply the next one. But remember, when we multiply, it doesn't matter what order we do it in, so long as you multiply 2 together and then the last one. Question 4 there you can see is your mixed number, so remember, change it to top heavy, simplify if you can, and then multiply top and then multiply bottom. Question 5, 6 and 7 in our hot section are our wordy questions, but remember the topic today is multiplying fractions, so really what I want you to do here is pick out the fractions and multiply them together. Any problems, you can contact me through Teams or through my email. Give it your best shot and I will see you in the next video.